Go be with your sister. Everybody.
Why is there a turkey inside?
Why is there a turkey inside of a turkey?
What?
Oh my God! What is this? Mom! Oh my God! Mom, it's a turkey! Mom, this isn't funny. I'm crying.
What?
Mom, it's a big turkey and the turkey's a girl.
Alrighty, hello everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody but our Canadian friends on the Hat of America up there. Welcome to the Shorts and Hoodies podcast. I am the intro person for today. I am Stephanie, and I'm going to introduce the person to my left or my bottom, depending on which layout you're looking at. How's it going, Dash?
I'm doing good. I'm below you.
You're below
down
me?
Here
Okay.
I'm down here in the center square.
Well, we're going for the win, so I'm going to ask you a question here on Hollywood Squares.
Okay.
All right. And above me, in my view, who knows where he is in your view, we're going to the lovely Jared. Hi, Jared.
Hello. Thank you for letting me finish my chips, by the way. I was hungry.
I'm glad. I don't want you to be hangry because you'll be hangry. I don't know where I'm going with that. But we are here on this very special episode for Thanksgiving. We are going to talk about some lovely movies that we are very thankful for. Hopefully all of you are at home with your families or not, enjoying some delicious food, maybe watching some football, doing whatever you do on Thanksgiving, watching planes, trains, and automobiles, hopefully. But before we get started here, we want to make sure that if you're watching this, you like the video, subscribe to our channel, maybe even leave a comment, and also click the notification bell to stay up to date when we release brand new videos on the channel. You will be the first one to know about it, and you can be the first one to comment first in the comments because we love doing that. This week's show, we don't have a real big time sponsor because we're kind of new still, but this week's show is brought to you by acid reflux medicine because we're all going to need some after eating all of this damn food, and they really should sponsor our Thanksgiving show. Cheers. This week's episode, as we said, is going to be the movies that we're thankful for. So I don't know if we want to go in the same order that we did with our prior videos. I started us off last time, and I'm willing to, in the spirit of feminism, defer to one of you gentlemen to start us off for the movies. No?
Absolutely not. Stephanie,
Democracy
Chivalry
wins.
is not dead, ladies. These gentlemen are keeping it alive for us. All right.
say that.
So we are going to start with the movies that we were the most thankful for, movies that touched us, that built us to who we are. I'm gonna start this off with it.
I'm gonna tell you what. Before we get started, my list is bonkers. There's some deep cuts with this list. So, yeah.
Wait. You said deep cuts. Like, what do you mean by deep cuts? Like, are you gonna harm some people here with your picks, or like?
Yeah, probably.
Like deep cuts from a knife? That's not what that means, Jared.
No, not at all. Yeah. No, there's going to be some ones in here that are like, oh my God, I haven't heard that title in forever, or I have never heard that one at all. If you have heard of my number 2 pick, We Are Best Friends. Yeah.
Ooh, I'm the same way. If you've seen my number 2 pick, We Are Best Friends. So we'll see if we're friends after this.
There we go. Let's
Alrighty.
go.
Well, then I'll start us off in the spirit of chivalry. So this is a movie that has absolutely nothing to do with Thanksgiving. I won't name the dates for this one, Jared, because I just didn't bother to look them up, other than that they're in the ones in the 80s and ones in the 90s. This is 2 films I'm putting together. I'm cheating yet again.
Okay.
I am thankful for The Terminator and Terminator 2, because you want to talk about badass women in film. Linda Hamilton, those guns that she's sporting in Terminator 2, the change of Linda Hamilton from Terminator 1 to Terminator 2, Arnold in a role that was originally written for O.J. Simpson. If that's a strange alternate universe take, that would have been. But The Terminator is such an amazing movie. Shout out to my friend Katie, who I hope was watching this. That's her absolute favorite movie, and I agree with her on it. It's a perfect movie. It's the first one. It's kind of like Aliens, right? Alien is a horror movie, and Aliens with James Cameron is an action movie. Yeah. Terminator is a horror movie, and Terminator 2 is a huge bonkers action movie. These movies are so good. They keep trying to remake them over and over again to middling levels of success in all of them, because these movies are absolute classics. I'd never seen somebody like Linda Hamilton, this female protagonist, trying to survive the Terminator. The way the Terminator has to go through the decision trees of trying to decide how to respond. The opening scene where he just shows up in his buff glory, showing off all that Mr. Olympia training. Oh yeah, talk about that. Yeah,
that's beautiful man meat right there.
Some gorgeous man meat. Bill Paxton is one of the dudes in the bar that he fights, which is kind of a fun little blurb. But yeah, Terminator 2, those movies are both.
Did you see perfect. The most recent ones? The most recent Terminator?
I did see the most recent one.
She was hardcore in that movie.
She was hardcore.
You want to talk about going from bad to bad bitch to where she's at there? That's a level of heinous right there.
I like that movie too. I liked that movie. It was fine. It was fine. It was a little too actiony at certain times, or like the plane scene was fine, but getting Linda Hamilton back and seeing old man Arnold, that was really good. But I love it.
Was a cool callback.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry, where you at number 10?
I'm bringing it back to the last episode. Princess Mononoke. It was that kind of introduction to the anime style. If you watch the last episode, I can't get over it. It was a great story, great everything about it. I'm not going to go too much into detail because it was covered on the last episode, but just it's got great animation. It was a style that I was happy about, and it tells a beautiful story. And I'm a sucker for a story. I always shut my brain off, and I let the author or the director tell me a story. And in Princess Mononoke, it told me a story, and I was happy for it. So, yeah,
awesome. My number 10, it has to be on my list. There are Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte, great team. This is kind of one of those teams too. It's an action movie. Does not really follow the first two movies. Die Hard with a Vengeance. Bruce Willis, Sam Jackson,
of course you did.
Jeremy Irons. Just from the first dun, 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 and then the explosion. Just it's a great movie. It has to be on my top 10 list of movies that I'm thankful for. I was married for a little bit, and my ex-wife, it was her favorite movie. Literally go to sleep listening to Hot Time Summer in the City, and it's the first song that's in the movie, and I'm knocked out after that. But to sit there and pay attention, it's a great film. Bruce Willis, and just the first interaction of Bruce Willis and Sam Jackson when they're in Harlem, and he's got the sign on him, and Sam Jackson, "You all right, sir? You feeling all right, sir?" And it's like, there's a white man standing out in the street. I seen one. It's a great movie. Oh, I love it so much. Die Hard with a Vengeance, my number 10.
Totally not shocked that you had that on your list.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure the more and more y'all listen, I'm sure the more and more y'all listen to the show, it will definitely come up. I'm a big Bruce Willis fan, but more than anything, I'm a big Die Hard with a Vengeance fan. The best movie in the was it 5 films now? Number 3 for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ready. Back to me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Alrighty. We're starting off the number 9 film. So this is a movie that I saw 4 times in the theaters when it came out. Like everybody my age, this is when I fell in love with Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio. This is 97's Titanic. I make no apologies for loving this movie. I mean, it's 2 James Cameron movies on the list. I guess, I like people's vision and I stick with their vision, right? So, I mean, Titanic, it got derided in later years because it's Jack and Rose. Oh, could Jack have survived on that door? All the other things that people think about with Titanic. But I love I forgot to look up the actress's name that played Rose in modern days, 104 years old or whatever she was. But that actress, her performance is so lovely. Just the vulnerability that she has as the elder lady, the way that she tells the story, the sound of her voice, she's so cute. But Kate Winslet, I mean, Kate Winslet is this movie for me. Yes, we see all of Kate Winslet, which that's something, I hadn't seen that in a movie before. But the chemistry between Leonardo and Kate, the car scene when they, do whatever in the car, and everybody in my school would, because I'm in Minnesota, the windows on the bus like to frost up quite a bit, and everybody would do that. They'd put their hand on the window and, like this was kind of a fun little joke. But I love that movie. I think I cried every time I watched it. It's a great film if you're in an emotional state and you just need a really good cry. You just watch that. And the action in it when the ship is going down, the sound design of the people falling over the rails and boom and falling into the water. Oh, so good. A nightmare to make, apparently. If you look at any of the behind the scenes, an absolute nightmare movie to make, but it turned out great.
I will tell you, one of my favorite memories that I ever had. I used to be on the training team for Little Caesars when I lived in Kannapolis, in North Carolina, and we were in Baltimore, opening a store there. And it was me, another guy in the hotel room, and there was 2 chicks who were in the other hotel room. So we had 4 people on our training team. And we were supposed to go out that night down to, what is it? They call it the Inner Harbor down in Baltimore, like the entertainment district or whatever, in Baltimore. And Titanic was on TBS. And the girls were getting ready. We were supposed to be getting ready. And the girls come over to our room, and we are sitting on the edge of our bed, like with our legs kicked up, laying on our stomach. And they're like, "Are y'all ready to go?" And we're like, "It's Titanic, though. We can't go." So long story short, they went out, and me and him sat there and cried and watched Titanic. And it's one of my favorite memories because it's such a great, it's one of those movies, like, it doesn't matter if you're watching it or something on TBS, like everything stops. I have to watch Titanic. Yeah, absolutely. Great choice.
My girlfriend took me on a date to see her 10th showing of the Titanic in theaters.
Oh my gosh, 10? That's a bit much. Yeah, 4 was a lot. I wanted that necklace so bad. I mean, not the actual diamond, obviously, because that's lost at sea, but I really wanted to get a replica of that necklace. I thought it was so pretty.
Remember the VHS though? The two tapes.
I had them. I had the 2 tapes.
Couldn't find them, for the longest time, when they were out. Now you can find them anywhere if you go to like a Goodwill or whatever. But it was like you would go. I remember going to the video store. It wasn't like a Blockbuster. It was like a mom and pop spot kind of thing. And it was in back order for like a while. When it came out, it was like, no, you can't get it. Can't get Titanic. Great movie. All right, Jarrett, number 9.
I had to pick 2 movies for this just because of how they scared the ever living out of me. The Fourth Kind and The Mist.
Okay.
The reason why I picked these 2 movies is because the sheer terror I felt while watching the end of The Mist and the sheer absolute panic of watching The Fourth Kind. Because they essentially, in The Fourth Kind, they made 2 movies, right? They made a movie where it was supposed to be the real scenes, and then they made a movie about the real scenes, quote unquote. And just, I don't know, just something about how they elicited that fear reaction out of me, like, now picture this. We're in the middle of South Dakota on an airfield. I'm armed to the teeth with my M4, my M9. My partner's got an M4, M9. We got ballistics gear on. We're watching The Fourth Kind. We had to go to the bathroom together in a pair because we had been that scared of the movie The Fourth Kind.
Wow.
And then now this was like pre-Google. This was like when phones were still like 2G or whatever. And I finally Googled, is the fourth kind real? And like, no, it's a make of a make of a make. I was like, oh. But still, for like 2 hours after that, we were armed to the teeth, scared out of our minds. It was hilarious. So
I don't do scary movies, man. No way. For that exact reason, I can't let it go. Sorry, not to reference our prior episode, but I can't let those scenes go from a scary movie. So I'm never watching either one of those movies. Sorry.
It's a good thing we've already done horror. We've already done horror movies, so
yeah, I would have nothing on my list other than psychiatrist bills.
I mean, you could watch The Mist. You could watch it, but like the ending, that would terrify you. That would scar you.
Yeah.
It would just scar you for life.
I can make up enough scary stuff in my head for my own scary movie. I don't need any help.
It's not the type of scary that you would think of either. If for those of you who have seen The Mist, you know. But all right, okay. I digress. Josh, what's up, buddy? Where's number 9 for you, big guy?
Number 9 is this is one of those cuts. This is one of those deep cuts that if you know this movie, we're gonna be friends. Growing up, my dad was a karate instructor, so it was not uncommon to see like Seagal, Steven Seagal movies, or what are Chuck Norris movies, Bruce Lee, stuff like that. This is very much like a C-list kind of movie. My number 9 pick is Bruce Leroy, Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon.
Oh my gosh.
Either of you've seen it.
I've seen this movie.
Barry Gordy's The Last Dragon. It starred Bruce Leroy Green, and Shonuff, the Shogun of Harlem. It had what was the chick's name?
I can't remember.
She was a singer. She was signed by Prince too. Vanity.
Yeah.
Yeah. The soundtrack was DeBar's "Feel the Beat of the Rhythm of the Night, Dancing to." Yeah. So that was where that song was on that soundtrack, made it big or whatever. The bad guy in the movie not only was Shonuff, the Shogun of Harlem, had one of the best lines, "Bend down and kiss my Converse." Remember the chick going, "I would love to peel this banana." He had the yellow, outfit on like Bruce Lee did. The bad guy in the movie was Eddie Arcadia, like this 4'3" dude who, balding and everything. And it's just a great movie. He had the glow like Bruce Lee did. It was just great movie, great soundtrack, everything about it. Very good.
I don't want to watch it now.
I'm telling you, dude. It is a cult classic. Great movie.
That whole era of like Afro martial arts movies.
Yes.
But they kind of reference in if you saw the Watchmen series on HBO Max, the main character that Regina King plays kind of references that same era of like 70s, 80s Afro martial arts movies. They're so much fun. They're so cool.
His dad owned a pizza restaurant, and their commercial was "Just direct your pizzas to Daddy Green's Pizzas." Great commercial. All right, Stephanie, number 8 for you.
All right, number 8. So this is a movie that I love. I love this movie, and I'll watch it anytime it's ever on television. But it's also the movie that, if my information is correct from my parents, it's the reason I exist in the first place, because it was the movie that my parents saw as their first date. And it is 1982's E.T. the Extraterrestrial, which you call it E.T., then you call it the Extraterrestrial. It's kind of redundant, but whatever. I mean, what do I got to say about this movie? It's a masterpiece, right? Just Elliot, the sincerity and the connection I have to him as a kid, and Drew Barrymore, little tiny Drew Barrymore, one of her first roles. I think this is before Firestarter. The John Williams score is so beautiful. I was not one of those kids who was afraid of E.T. A lot of kids were afraid of E.T. for some reason. I always thought he was really cute and adorable, even when I was little. But the scene, the Amblin sign when he's flying off on the bike over all of the guys, just the uplifting music. It's such a beautiful movie, and I'm thankful that it exists, because there aren't a lot of movies that show kids from single parent homes in back in those days, right? A lot of movies showed people with both mom and dad, and I know for some people that grew up in a single parent house, not myself, but people who grew in a single parent household, that was really important to see, a kid growing up in that and seeing a working mom. And it was a groundbreaking, hugely successful movie that I think still holds up 100% to this day. I don't see anything that I would change about this movie whatsoever. It's scary that they want to take E.T. apart. Sure, that's kind of weird, but we all know the government probably would do that if an extraterrestrial did show up on our doorframe. But the movie's beautiful. I love it. I'm thankful that it exists because it's the reason I exist now, because my parents went to on their first date.
There you go. When he's dying and Elliot's screaming for him, I can pinpoint that as the first time I felt something, like as a kid, like not just like regular kid emotions or whatever, but like I feel for somebody else, and it's just a movie. Yeah.
Have you ever seen the video of, I can't remember the actor's name, I should have looked it up. The kid that played Elliot, his audition tape.
Mm-mm.
Ever seen that? Oh my God, please watch that, because they just tell him that, E.T. is your friend and they're going to take him away. And you see this young kid just break down like, no, they can't take my friend. He's just instantly connects with the camera just from bar one. And that whole movie is based on that young kid's performance. Just imagine if that had gone wrong, the whole movie kind of doesn't work without that main central performance. So, wonderful movie.
Great.
All right, so we're going to Jared. What's your number 8?
I feel kind of bad because it's not so wholesome.
That's okay.
I have to give the year with this one, because otherwise I don't know if people know it, but 1997's Contact.
Love this movie.
This was a great movie because I'm always of the mindset, like, I like when the bad guy wins, or I like when there's not really a resolution to the film. Like, I think it's always amazing how there are no happy endings, in reality. Like, very few and far between are there happy endings. And like, yeah, she gets a happy ending, but they're like, bitch, we spent billions on this project and you were gone for 2 seconds, and they're like, well, why was there 5 hours of tape or whatever on the other end here? Why is there 5 hours of static recording? And you're just like, yeah, but she got her thing. But like, everybody else was left without a happy ending, and she had the happy ending. I just think it's great that the whole, the movie is like disappointing to like everybody, because it was supposed to be built to this big thing, and then they just bloop, and they're like, what happened? And she's like, I did this fantasy nonsense. And they're like, no, you didn't. You went bloop. I just think it's great. I think it's great. So I'm thankful for Contact from 1997.
Is that the Jodie Foster film?
Yes,
That's
Jodie Foster.
Okay.
Film. And Matthew McConaughey, right? All right.
Maybe.
My favorite line in Contact was, I forget the exact line, but it was the first film where, even if it's 1 in a million, that still leaves like how many planets that intelligent life could be on.
Yeah.
And SETI and all of that. It's such a good movie.
I mean, the CGI was pretty trash, but it was like on par for 1990.
I'll have to watch it again.
In today's standards, it's trash.
Sure.
But like in 1997, even then you were kind of like, I mean, you tried,
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Dash. My apologies. But what's up? Where you at with number 8? What's up, man?
Number 8. My number 8 pick is the movie that I have seen in theater more than any other movie. I saw this movie opening weekend, Friday, Saturday, twice. I went and saw it twice in one day, Sunday, and then I remember going back and seeing it 2 more times. I saw it 6 times in theaters. An incredible cast. It hooks you from the beginning with 3 amazing trailers. The premise for the story is just wacky. Speared by controversy of an actor playing another actor.
Is it a dude
Ben
playing a dude
Stiller.
playing another dude?
Yes, Ben Stiller, Robert Downey Jr., and Jack Black. Tropic Thunder holds a near and dear place in my heart of just what is true satirical humor on actors that are just the wacky, the one who's not making great movies anymore, and then the serious method actor. I mean, at that time, Robert Downey Jr. had 2. He had Iron Man and Tropic Thunder in the same year.
Wow.
Like that was his year. That, I mean, you look at his past. Not my favorite movie that he's ever done. That would be Chaplin. But I love Charlie Chaplin so much. But Tropic Thunder was just Brandon. Was it Brandon T. Jackson was in it?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, yeah.
Tom Cruise.
As Les
Showing he's got a sense
Grossman,
of humor. Holy
Bill
crap.
Hader, Nick Nolte. Yeah.
I can't believe how people had like the only people who were upset by it were not the people that were supposed to be upset by it. Who you would think, you know?
Yeah.
Like it was Joe Rogan did an interview with Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is like, I love that movie. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be just comedy.
Yeah, Tropic Thunder is my number 8 pick. Incredibly funny movie. Stephanie, take us into number 7 here.
Alrighty, we are staying in the realm of comedy again. A movie that I think criminally underrepresented in terms of award nominations. I think I was looking up award nominations for this movie and found that it only received one big one, which was a BAFTA for Best Screenplay. Should have been an Oscar nomination, I think, for Bill Murray, which is 1993's Groundhog Day. I think this movie is literally perfect. There's not a frame that's bad in this movie. It's such a wonderful message at the center of it. Like, and so many movies have like tried to copy the structure of Groundhog Day. Directed by the great Harold Ramis, may he rest in peace, who you may know as Egon from the Ghostbusters. He also wrote the screenplay for this as well. But it's Bill Murray. It's Bill Murray at his absolute best. Bill Murray, when he's got a little edge of darkness and a little bit of meanness to his performance, is the best Bill Murray, because, in my opinion, because then he can play off the humor. He's got this really sardonic wit. He's so cruel to certain people when you first see him at the beginning of the movie, and then to see the transformation of who he is as the days go on and on and on. That sequence where he tries to kill himself over and over again. I shouldn't find that funny, but man, that sequence is so hilarious. Yeah. And of course, the beautiful Andie MacDowell, who's lovely in the film. And Chris Elliott, one of the last big roles for Chris Elliott in that movie, who's Cabin Boy, if you know that movie at all. I mean, it's literally a perfect story. It's such a great premise for, you know, if there is no tomorrow, how would you live, right? Is I think the main idea of Groundhog Day. And if you're going to do it over and over again, he takes piano lessons. He helps the guy on the street and brings him kind of back to health. He's learning to be a better person. And you finally, at the end, when he's happy, is when he's finally allowed to move on. It's a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant movie. And I'm glad that it exists, because I learned a lot watching it, and I get to laugh a lot from that movie. So my number 7 is Groundhog Day.
Great movie.
Great movie. All right, Jared, what's your number 7?
You guys gotta stop being so damn wholesome.
Oh, well, you know.
Like, my movies are like kind of darkish.
Give it time. We're getting ready to get into like dick and toilet humor.
Ex Machina was a movie that I thoroughly am thankful for. If you kind of notice the theme, there's not really any winners or losers in a lot of the movies that I have. What would you do if you give an android sentience, especially a hot woman android sentience? I mean, look at what Krillin did with Android 18. He had started a family, you know, go figure. I just love the whole premise of the movie. Like, it's interesting to me that it's shot with 3 people. I mean, technically 2 people and an android, if you want to even get technical with it. But like, It was a beautifully done movie. It was well written. I think it just everything. It feels more realistic than anything in the world. So, Ex Machina, number 7. Leave it
the
at that.
arrival of Oscar Isaac.
I don't remember who that is.
Poe Dameron from Star Wars.
Oh, Poe Dameron. Okay.
Yeah. Oh man.
See, I'm horrible with names and faces.
That's okay. Ex Machina was the beginning of my crush on Oscar Isaac. Holy moly, he is hot as fire in that movie.
Speaking of hot as fire, thank you for wearing your hoodie to the show.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. Of course, an amazing band too, by the way.
Avatar. All right. Are we going to Dash with your number 7?
Yeah, I just had one pop in my head that I was like, oh,
No.
I gotta put it as an
Could be your honorable mention.
Yeah, well, I have like 7 movies of honorable mentions, but I was like, well, my number 7 is a movie that is weirdly enough not number one, but is in my top 5 of all-time favorite movies. And it's weird because it is not necessarily a movie that I'm super thankful for. It is not necessarily a movie that shaped me, yada, yada, yada. But to me, it is a perfect movie. All movies in my top 5 are perfect.
And it is?
This movie is one of those. It has an incredible cast, and I'm not going to say what it is yet. I'm going to give you actors.
Okay.
And because this movie will mean a lot to me even more. Sorry, Jared. This movie will mean a lot to me even more is if you can guess the movie, because that means you probably have seen it.
Okay.
Catherine O'Hara.
Okay.
John Lithgow.
Okay.
Ben Stiller.
Okay.
Harold Ramis.
Wait, is this comedy?
This is a comedy.
Can I
This
say
is a
it?
coming of age story.
Can I say it?
Sure.
Zoolander?
Nope.
Fuck.
Oh.
Jack Black.
John Lithgow. Catherine O'Hara. You mean the mom from Home Alone?
Yep.
Catherine O'Hara?
Yep. And the star of the movie is Colin Hanks. With a cameo by one of my absolute favorite actors, Kevin Kline, is in it as well. This is a story, a coming of age story of a young man whose best friend dies in a surfing accident, and he finds a book in the sand, and this book changes his life, and he realizes he wants to become a writer. The name of this movie is called Orange County.
Oh, I haven't seen this one.
Orange County, it's a comedy. Catherine O'Hara, of course, who plays what she's great at playing, a drunk. She plays the drunk mom. Jack Black is this drugged out kind of loser brother. John Lithgow is the divorced dad of Catherine, the ex-husband of Catherine O'Hara and everything. He has this girlfriend who loves animals, and just she wants the world for him, but he wants to go to Stanford. Harold Ramis plays the dean of admissions. Ben Stiller plays a firefighter, a little cameo or whatever. But this book that he finds is written by Kevin Kline, and he goes to Stanford to try to get admitted because Lily Tomlin plays the school advisor or whatever.
Cast.
It's an incredible cast, and she mixes up the transcripts, so it's like people who shouldn't be going to Yale are going to Yale and all this stuff at high school, and it's just this wacky story that takes place over the course of like 5 hours maybe. And Harold Ramis plays the dean of admissions. It's just a great story, and he finally meets Kevin Kline, who wrote the book that he found, and just gives him great advice. And yeah, it's a beautiful story. I've seen this movie probably more times than any other movie I've seen ever.
Wow.
Orange County. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's not for everybody, but it's a perfect movie for me.
That sounds like an awesome movie. Wow.
Yeah. Stephanie, your number 6.
All right, my number 6 that I'm most thankful for. This is going to be kind of wholesome again. Sorry, Jared. I guess it is kind of my theme. But this is for a lot of people, this is a big movie for them, starring a Minnesota native. Not to have the Minnesota angle, as Minnesotans, we always got to have the Minnesota angle on things, but it is starring a very famous Minnesotan, starring a very famous song. One of the first movies to be in color. See if you can guess the movie from that. It has characters that they're one way at the beginning of the movie, and then later in the movie they're slightly different, and it may have all been a dream. It's based on a very famous book series.
Harry Potter.
Can you guess? Oh, no. Much earlier movie based on.
That's a dark theory where it was all in Harry Potter's mind. My bad.
It's all in Harry Potter's. I have seen that theory.
Takes place in Minnesota?
No, it doesn't take place in Minnesota. It just stars someone from Minnesota.
Oh, I don't know anybody from Minnesota.
Very famous person from Minnesota, from Grand Rapids, Minnesota. Great singer, big star of the 30s and 40s. Was just the subject of a movie starring Renee Zellweger. Does that make it a little bit easier? No. This is 39's. I'm just gonna say it. This is The Wizard of Oz. You guys, come on.
Why? I was gonna guess that.
Were you? Well, too late. I'm sorry. I'm a jerk. But yeah, it's based on. Have you ever read the actual Wizard of Oz books by Frank Oz? No, not Frank Oz. Frank Elbaum. Forget his name. Forget his name.
You were saying it, and you're like the first color movie. I was like The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
The Wizard of Oz was the first color movie. But then you were talking about it, and I'm like, I didn't think she was.
Well, it wasn't the first.
When you said it might have could have been a dream kind of thing, I was like, I knew I couldn't think of it, but yeah.
I immediately went to Harry Potter, The Dark Theory of Harry Potter. So
well, this one is kind of a bit different than the book, because in the actual Wizard of Oz book, she really does go to Oz, and it is not a dream, and it's actually a pretty dark, kind of twisted kind of fantasy, which is more of the what's the James Franco? What's the name of that one? The sequel or the prequel, whatever. Yeah. Anyways, but The Wizard of Oz, I mean, it's a great movie. Somewhere Over the Rainbow is a beautiful movie. Judy Garland, she had a fight to be in that movie. They wanted, I think Shirley Temple was the first choice to play Dorothy, if you can imagine what that would have been. But I mean, The Wizard of Oz is perfect. It's such a beautiful movie. The scene when it becomes color, you imagine audiences seeing that for the first time, how magical that was to see Technicolor, live big on the screen. And I mean, what else can I say about The Wizard of Oz? It's a perfect movie.
Have you ever seen a sequel to it? Return to Oz?
Return to Oz. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, the James Franco one.
No.
Oh, what am I thinking of?
The
yeah,
I have not seen that. The Craft was in it when she was a young kid.
Oh, I have not seen that.
It's twisted, but it's still a kids movie. But yeah, no, look, it's a hard to find movie too. I believe it is called Return to Oz.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. Yep, I know that it exists. I've just never seen it.
Yep, it's what's her name? The chick from the Fairuza Balk. She played like the lead chick in The Craft.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She played Dorothy. In Return to Oz. Very twisted. Very cool though.
All right, so that was my number 6. Jared, what's your number 6?
Speaking of dark and twisted, I put Sicario 1 and 2. I feel like it's the movie starts out very graphically, and then it just kind of spirals into the deep dark underworld of the secret squirrel community. And I think I was talking to you, Stephanie, about it, or I was maybe talking to somebody else about how I needed to rewatch Sicario for whatever reason while I was making these lists, and I started to notice some discrepancies about the way that they portrayed the military in the specific moments, like the M86 red dot sight, especially even if you're at night vision, you want to make sure you pop the lids up, because then you can see through it with the night vision, and they didn't have that on. And I just noticed a lot of military inaccuracies where I was like, I mean, yeah, but like at the same time, it's that nitty gritty underworld where just like, because I think when the first thing goes wrong in Sicario 2, all of a sudden, the government guy backing it wants out immediately. And they're like, no, this is what you wanted. This is what you ordered. And it's kind of nice because it separates the two worlds from, this is what you want, and we have to do it this specific way to get here. And then it's just so cool to see people operating kind of without impunity and how it would really operate and work. Also, I love Guillermo Del Toro just being a badass hitman. Like, he's just so quiet and deadly. I love him. So our Benicio Del Toro.
There you go. I was gonna say Guillermo Del Toro was the director. I was about to correct you, but you corrected yourself.
I'm an idiot. Yeah. See,
no,
like
okay.
I've got it written down.
Benicio Del Toro.
Benicio.
And Josh Brolin, right?
Yeah, Josh Brolin. I don't know. It's just
if you like Sicario, you should see Dune. That's the same director.
Oh.
Denis Villeneuve.
Okay.
That's probably why he got some of the military stuff right, because he's a French Canadian. Canadians. I'll make a Canadian joke. Sorry, Canadian friends.
I'm all ears. I want to hear this joke.
No. I was gonna say like he's Canadian. You know, Canadians they just kind of slap fight.
Oh, I have an ex-Canadian friend. So
I know the Canadians are badasses. I'm just kidding, Canadian friends.
no, they're horrible.
We're on the same path here now.
Oh, we are now.
All right,
Don't tell me.
6?
Same path as last episode.
Uh-oh.
Wait,
Is your
have
number
we
6
have we
also
just
the
gone?
Wizard of Oz?
No.
Oh.
Me and Jared are. I have not seen any one of your first 5 films yet.
Wow.
Oh no.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm sitting here going, nope.
Well, okay. Well, I know you've probably seen 2 of them, 2 or
Okay.
3. Yeah.
We'll see.
My number 6. I could not have a list without Kevin Smith on here. He such a wide array. The characters of Jay and Silent Bob, though, whether you're talking Mallrats, you're talking Clerks, you're talking Jersey Girl, but for them to get their own movie finally after all of this stuff, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is such an incredible movie, and I'll even give it to the reboot, because if you are a true fanatic of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, to watch the reboot, which is ultimately the same fucking script but done a different way, is genius, especially in the time that we live in of reboots and everything. It was just amazing. Jason Lee playing 2 characters, both playing, but his character is Banky is just awesome. Ben Affleck, that whole scene when they look at the camera, they're on the internet. What the fuck is the internet? And they start going through all this stuff. Going to movies. Yeah, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I've seen that movie so many times. I love Kevin Smith.
Well, I mean, so there's 2 things that I love about that movie. One is that one with Good Bill Hunting 2, right?
Yeah.
Going
Applesauce
hunting or whatever
pig.
it is. Yeah, so good. And the second thing I love is when Mark Hamill comes in as Cockknocker. It's so freaking funny.
It's Mark Hamill. Jamie Kennedy played the intern, like the little subtle nods to everything, and all the cameos. Shannon Elizabeth, what was her name? Boo Boo Kitty Fuck.
Oh, Boo Boo Kitty Fuck.
Yeah, Elijah Dushku was in it.
Oh yeah.
I gave
Ali
my
Larder.
girlfriend that nickname.
Ali Larder was in it. Will Ferrell, Judd Nelson as the sheriff.
It's funny that you mentioned this movie and Boo Boo Kitty Fuck, because I actually I called my girlfriend that name once, and it stuck for like 6 months while we were finishing up dating. It was just my sweet little nickname for her. We had both watched the movie, and she thought it was hilarious.
Morris Day and the Time had to finish
Yes.
out
I was just gonna
a
say, when are you
movie
gonna
with
bring in Morris Day?
and motherfucking Time. Oh yes,
So good. Alrighty. So that was your number
Stephanie.
6. Now we're on to number 5 now.
number 5, second half now.
Bringing it home. All right. So we're going now. In a prior episode, we talked a little about manufactured girl power. This is a movie that has 100% pure, unadulterated, free range, organic girl power. This is one of the classics of Penny Marshall, the great Penny Marshall, who also did Big. She did 92, A League of Their Own. I love this movie so much. I mean, my sister and I both played softball growing up, and so it was a movie that really touched home. We also, sisters fight sometimes, and I was the older sister, she was the younger sister, so I pretended that I was Dottie and she was Kit. Kind of like I'd pretend I was Venus and she was Serena when we play sports. There's no crying in baseball. Great Tom Hanks, Gina Davis, Lori Petty, Tank Girl as Kit. She's really wonderful. Madonna's in it, which, Madonna's hit or miss with her acting. It's such an important movie too, because it is based on a real thing that happened, that there was the women's league that happened when all the men were overseas fighting. And this was a big kind of a step forward. It's kind of a an illustration of women kind of stepping forward into roles that traditionally were fulfilled by men, and the idea of women athletes and women athletes being a draw for wider audiences. Came out at a time that early 90s, there was a lot of that discussion about women kind of moving forward and women's athletics kind of moving forward and getting more recognition. But even besides all of that, the movie itself is so wonderful. I don't know if you guys have seen it lately, but it's just such a fun, just a good sports film too on top of that. But then you have those awful scenes where, like, the one gal, they're going through the whole lineup with someone's husband has died, and they go through that whole scene, and it passes by Gina Davis, and you see her face, and then it passes past her, and afterwards she's just bawling, and the scene of having to console the lady as her husband has died. It's like, it's got everything. It's got comedy, it's got drama, it's got girl power, organic girl power. I love this movie. I'm so thankful that it exists. And rest in peace to the great Penny Marshall.
Yeah.
I love how they transformed Tom Hanks in that, from just this drunk idiot to like he's competent. Like they completely change him. I love it. I love it.
Great movie for Tom Hanks. All right. So Jared, what's your number 5?
Upgrade.
Ooh.
It's a movie called Upgrade. You seen it, Dash?
Logan Marshall Green, right? Oh
You're
yeah,
naming
sorry.
something.
Actor names. Actor names.
So I love it because he gets a massive spinal injury. He's broken from the neck down, and company's like, hey, let's implant this random thing in you that's gonna make you a soldier of fortune. You're gonna become a badass. I mean, in the trailer, I forget what the guy calls himself, but he's like, can I take over? And he's like, yes, take over. And then he just turns into this ninja badass. Yeah. And then on top of that, like, yes, it has a little bit of military porn in it, but then the story comes in. The story is told, and it's just this beautiful story where you find out everything may have been portrayed as one way, but it's not so much. It's glorious, and it just kind of mixes, action awesomely with a very well told story. And I mean, it kind of gets a little faux pas-y in the storyline, but I think ultimately you kind of mix everything together. I think it's a beautiful movie that kind of blends futurism with not so much cyberpunk-y. Yeah,
sure. I've never seen it, but I have heard from people that it's a better version of Venom. Do you agree with that?
I just like Tom Hardy, so I'd have to say no. But yeah, like if
because Logan Marshall Green kind of looks like Tom Hardy, so
yeah, I mean, I would say it almost is a better version of Venom because it has some darker, sinister overtones in the middle of the movie. Like, it almost feels. I would say just watch it and you'll get what I understand, because I don't want to give away too much of the story.
Sure.
Don't want to give away some of the feel
parts. It's on my list. It's definitely on my list to watch. I'm gonna watch it.
So we're now 6 for 6. Dash, what's up with you, bud? Where are you going?
Give me 1 second. Let me open this window for my cat.
Boo.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, if you want to pull me in again, Jared.
All right.
We're 6 for 6, big guy. What you got next, homie?
My number 5. Stay off that damn lamp, boy.
I didn't know that was a movie. Have you seen Stay Off That Damn Lamp, Boy?
It's got Clint Eastwood in it. It's a sequel to Get Off My Damn Lawn.
Okay.
Yeah. No, my number 5 movie, it's an 80s movie, but it's not. Anybody?
Okay.
Yeah. No.
You named like 1,000 freaking movies there.
Keep going. Come on.
Come on, spit it out, bud.
Is it going to be Big Trouble in Little China?
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Motherfucking Time Machine. Oh. Sebastian Stan.
I have not seen it, so I'm going however with you guys.
You need to
I have
see
not
this
seen
movie
it
before you see anything else we've ever talked about. Hot Tub Time Machine. It was a sequel. There's a sequel to it too. Not as good, but Adam, is it what's his name from Parks and Rec? Played Ben. He played
Parks and Rec.
Did you ever see Step Brothers?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the
Not
guy in
Step
Step Brothers.
Brothers.
That's like, hey, I got the
Yeah.
abs, and they totally impersonated somebody with the abs. Yeah, I got you.
Nope.
I can't remember
got
his
nothing.
name now.
That's all right.
Great
Hot Tub
movie.
Time Machine.
Hot Tub Time Machine. You got to see it. Great movie.
It's so dumb. It's awesome.
Yes.
But
yeah.
if it's like Dude, Where's My Car level dumb, I'll probably love it.
Yeah, you love it.
I love a good dumb
Yeah.
comedy.
They end up what's his name? One of the characters. There's the main character. Craig Robinson's in it. Clark Duke is in it. One of his first like kind of good roles too, because he had just done Kick-Ass as well at that time, where he was like kind of the best friend or whatever. Tries to kill himself or whatever, so they try to, let's all get together and go to where we, to the ski lodge. When we were younger, when we hung out and everything, we had the best time. And they get there and they get into this tub, this hot tub, and they're drinking and stuff, and it turns out to be a time machine. Chevy Chase is like the spirit guide, and they go back to kind of right some wrongs and everything.
Okay.
It's just hilarity ensues.
Have you
Crispin
seen
Glover is in it too.
Have you
Plays the
seen Hot
bellhop.
Rod, Stephanie?
Have we seen which one?
Hot Rod.
No, that's a Bill. I know it's on my list. I know.
Bill Hader,
Like I said, I know a
Sandberg.
lot about movies that I have never seen.
Because
I know it exists.
I've never laughed harder than when I watched Hot Rod and Hot Tub Time Machine. Like,
Yeah.
just those are the one movies that I watched one time, and I just giggled like a hyena. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. I gotta watch it.
All right.
right.
Number 4, Stephanie.
All right, number 4. I'm staying with the wholesome. This has some comedy in it, kind of. This is a movie based upon a short story written by Stephen King.
Oh, that's
but it
wholesome.
is not a scary movie. But it is not. It is a very wholesome movie. You'll name it if I say one little line, which is "Get busy living or get busy dying." That's damn right. It's 1994's The Shawshank Redemption. Have you never seen Shawshank? I mean,
No,
Get
I've
Busy
seen
Living
it.
or
I
Get
know
Busy
the-
Dying. Oh my gosh.
I know what
Just
it is.
Andy Dufresne. Oh, Andy Dufresne and Morgan Freeman as Red. I forget the old man character, his name. I mean, it's such a beautiful movie. I remember the first time I saw it when they rip away the poster from the wall. It's just like, no way! How did he get out? What? Climbing through a mile of shit. That's a metaphor for life in and of itself. The whole story is such a beautiful. I mean, Tim Robbins' beautiful performance. Just all the sisters at the beginning. That's kind of a horror movie for depending on who you are, but the fact that it's a Stephen King adaptation, people don't really think of that movie as a Stephen King sort of a story, but it is a short story by Stephen King. So I think it's a movie that should have, I think, won a few more Oscars than it did. But it came out the year of, I think, Pretty Else came out that year. But it's a movie that I've watched probably 500 times because it's on TBS or TNT a lot. So I'm glad that it exists because I learned a lot of life lessons from it. I think there's a beautiful section in the middle where they play it's not is it the flower duet? I can't remember the actual song they actually play, where they scratch the record and the beautiful operatic aria duet floats out over the entire prison. It's such a beautiful scene. They get like this little piece of heaven in their heart. I forget how they say it exactly, but they get like a little piece of the outside world into their heart. It's such a beautiful movie. And Frank Darabont actually directed it. He was the guy that wrote The Walking Dead, actually directed that movie and The Green Mile. So yeah, it's kind of a fun little tidbit. There you go. The Shawshank Redemption. All right.
I've only seen Shawshank one time. I have seen the Family Guy Shawshank more times than that. It's Cleveland.
Totally different.
Yeah, it's Morgan
Totally
Freeman.
Totally different.
All right.
Are you going over to Jared for your number 4?
There we go.
Man of Steel with Henry Cavill. Have you seen it?
I have.
Okay, yeah. The reason this is, I'm gonna make it kind of quick here. He's my favorite superhero because I could talk at length about Superman. He's my favorite superhero. The new 52, because I've read a few of the comics. Superman, like, you get a rebirth of him, and you kind of understand. I mean, when Zod tells Superman, basically, he's like, I'm gonna kill everybody you care about and everything you care about. I'm not gonna stop until you end me. and then he snaps Zod's neck, and then he screams out in pain, and then the ugly Lois Lane comes in. Like, you feel why he no longer wants to kill. Like, you get a whole understanding of where Henry Cavill as Superman comes into being and why he is the way he is. Zack Snyder directed it, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I feel like Snyder tells the kind of reason why. It's no longer just, I'm a wholesome superhero or whatever. You know, like when he could save his dad, but his dad's like, no, I will die here on this hill because they're not ready for you. Like, you go through understanding why Clark Kent and Superman are who they are. And it tells a beautiful story. So
It's a great movie.
I again,
what else can you say about that movie? It's a great movie. Gorgeous.
Tell me a good story. You give me a good backstory. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna fall in love with it. And for all his big hubbaloo and explosions and craziness, Zack Snyder can tell a fucking story.
It's great. He does such a great job with comic movies. I mean, he exceeds at it so much.
And Alex, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I know you hate Snyder, but go suck a duck or something. I don't know.
What's his name?
He's a visual storyteller.
Alex is my best friend.
Suck it, Alex.
Alex is my best friend. He is my go-to guy for anything Marvel. Any question I have, I have seen almost all the Marvel. Like, as soon as I met Alex, I started watching like all the Marvel movies. Like, he is my best in real world friend, but he hates Snyder with a passion. And I love him for it.
There's some people, that don't.
Yeah.
Some people don't like his Watchmen for the same reason. They think he's a little. He doesn't hit the Alan Moore mark, but I don't know. I don't agree with that. He's got a style. And he does it well.
Number 4, Dash. Number 4. Off your phone. This is a
I'm
professional
on my phone
environment.
for a certain reason.
Oh, okay.
Somebody already said my number 4. They mentioned it, but it wasn't one of their picks. When some wild-eyed 8-foot-tall maniac grabs your neck and taps your back, your favorite heads up in the bathroom wall, looks you crooked in the eye, and asks you if you paid your dues, you just stare at that big sucker right back in the eye, and you remember what old Jack Burton used to say at the time like that. If you paid your dues, Jack, yes, sir, check is in the mail. My number 4,
yeah, man.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh my God, really?
The movie that just
love this movie.
Made Kurt Russell a badass.
I forgot about that movie.
Big
Primo
Trouble
Kurt
in Little
Russell.
China is such a big part of my childhood, and what I think kind of gave me that. I don't want to say I don't have an ego. I'm confident. It was
So
Jack
racist.
Burton that gave me that confidence. It's my number 1 pick that kept that confidence going as I got older. But it was Jack Burton when I was younger.
That's such a good pick, Dash.
Yeah. Great movie.
Very good.
Great
Kim
movie.
Cattrall
Kim
role as
Cattrall,
well.
yeah. Prime Cattrall.
Mhm.
I love how
Lovely.
racist that
Big
was.
Trouble and Mannequin right then together.
Oh yeah, that's right. She was in Mannequin. That's right.
Yep.
Wow,
All
we're
right,
old.
Stephanie, down to your top 3.
My top 3, final countdown. Doo-doo-doo. This is a movie that my family is kind of a precious movie in our family because it's one. It came out at a time for me personally that was an interesting time because I grew up in a certain political persuasion that I am no longer in that persuasion. But I personally think it's I know he didn't win the Oscar for this performance, but I think this is the one he should have won the Oscar for, which is the great Robin Williams and Nathan Lane, Hank Azaria, Diane Wiest, and Gene Hackman. This is The Birdcage. I love this movie so freaking much. My sister and I constantly, there's a scene where Nathan Lane's character is very irritated with the choreographer, his dance partner for a certain number, and he keeps chewing gum in my face. And the guy tries to explain the scene. You know, Robin Williams has said, you've probably seen this skit quite a bit. Where he's like, Martha Graham, and Twyla. It's so freaking funny. And at the end, the dancer guy is like, I don't get it. Nathan Lane goes, try more gum. My sister and I
Wow.
reference that line all the time. When someone's
Oh.
like not very smart, I'm like, try more gum.
Yeah. Gene
The
Hackman
scene
and
at
drag.
Gene Hackman and drag is so
Yeah.
so funny. Gene Hackman and drag. I mean, the political commentary in that movie is very much something that's probably shouldn't be political. That in my personal opinion, that gay people should be allowed to be whatever they want to be. And I mean, it came out at a time when the Newt Gingrich and the Contract for America, and there's a lot of. It was kind of an anti-Republican movie, which is it's not really fair, right? Because Republicans are people just like anybody else, right? But it's really an important movie for showing a gay couple kind of seeming like just normal, right? Just being normal. The scene on the park bench where Nathan Lane and Robin Williams are kind of having that touching moment where, well, I don't want all of this. Well, then give me half, right? That's how they had to separate their lives, is by writing a contract to give each other half of their property because they couldn't get married at that time. It was an important scene for me to see as a young person. Like, oh, why can't they get married? Why they should be allowed to do that? But
when he's trying to teach him how to be straight,
oh God, that's
and
so funny.
he pierces the toast.
Ah,
Just that line.
I pierced the toast.
How do you feel about them dolphins? How do you think I felt? Just like
So funny. God, I love that movie.
You
All
guys
right, so
would
it's
hate me, but
Birdcage.
I've never seen it.
Oh gosh,
fun movie.
Oh.
Fun movie. Hank Azaria, especially
Mm-mm.
when he's in his Lucy wig and he's got like the tied up and he's in his heels in the kitchen and he's just dancing. And
So hot.
the bowls. What does she say? It looks like little Greek men playing leapfrog or jump frog or whatever. And they're supposed to be naked. And it's nothing but penises all around in that bowl. And it's hilarious.
So much gay stuff.
Yep. Great
It's
movie.
good. It's a really good movie. All
I
right,
might have to
so
watch it.
what's your number 3, Jared?
He's pregnant is the line that caught me. He's pregnant. Godzilla from 1998.
Whoa, okay.
The scientist is doing a test or whatever, and he's like, go give me a pregnancy test, and everyone's like, why? And he checks like some of Godzilla's saliva, and they're like, oh, he's pregnant, that's why he's doing these, that's why he's eating all this food. And yeah,
Girlzilla.
Is this the Matthew Broderick one?
Yes, Matthew Broderick.
I get criticized so much for liking that movie.
It's a fun movie.
It was fun for me.
2 movies have topped this. 2
Another
movies
good
have
Hank
topped
Azaria
this.
role.
But this used to be my number 1 favorite movie.
Really?
Just because it was my first introduction to like how big badass movies could be.
Yeah.
It was just I don't know.
You have Godzilla, and then what was it? Diddy did the song with Robert Plant and Jimmy Page. They kind of remade Kashmir, the song "Come With Me" that he did. So you had that Kashmir riff, that dun 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 dun, and mix that with Godzilla, and it was just like. And then you had Broderick too, and it was just I loved that film.
I don't know what it was about Godzilla, but it was one of those movies that just my mind went just like, oh, hello, this is the movie. This is what it should be like.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know it's old. But it is just the line when he's like, he's pregnant. And it's like, oh, okay, this is cool. We're on an adventure now. Leading into number 3, Dash Rooney Roo.
I can't speak enough about this movie. If I'm not mistaken, this was a John Hughes movie. I'm not 100% on that, but it follows the same narrative as like what John Hughes would put out.
Mm-hmm.
John Cusack, Better Off Dead.
Oh, okay. I have not seen this one either. Oh no.
Really?
Nope.
No, I haven't.
You're on your own, bud.
This is young John Cusack. He draws in his notebook in school. He sucks at his job at work. Soundtrack by Van Halen. Well, I think soundtrack by David Lee Roth.
Yeah, I gotta be careful there.
Yeah, I want to say this is Diamond Dave years. I want to say. He ends up. It's the quintessential jock with the pop collar. It's essentially Jared the premise of Hot Tub Time Machine, to where they have to ski down the mountain, and they have to ski the K-12 and everything.
It's just like that one South Park episode where
never saw it, never watched that part.
Ski school?
Yeah, where like if you pizza when you should have if you French fry when you should have pizza. No, you.
No.
Okay, never mind.
Better off that it's a quirky movie. There's parts to where he's like, he goes to the stoplight and everything, and there's two Asian dudes who come up behind him who grew up on Howard Cosell. And so they have a CB radio in their car, and every time they would get up to the light, they would start talking like Howard Cosell and want to race.
This is funny. Yeah, South Park made fun of this movie.
Okay, definitely a must watch if you're an fan of 80s movies. Better Off Dead is my number 3 pick.
Alrighty.
Yeah, the South Park episode I was talking about, they made fun of it.
Ski school.
Bad.
All right. Stephanie.
Alrighty. So I will be shocked if either one of you guys have seen this movie. If you have, you will be forever in my good graces. But this is a movie within a movie, technically speaking, because it's people watching a movie and riffing on it. So this was another Minnesota call out. This is a show that started right here in Minnesota, started at Energy Park Studios over in St. Paul, Minnesota. This is the movie of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Have you guys ever seen this?
Hold me
They
dear
actually
and
put out
near.
a movie.
Hold me near and
What's
dear.
that?
I've seen it.
Oh gosh, I mean they watched the old classic movie This Island Earth with the mutants, and it started I think my sister and I watched this probably 1,000 times. It's not a movie you ever want to sit next to me and watch if you don't want to hear every single line of the movie said before it's actually said. Because I really do. There's a line, and then I'll stick my ovipositor down your throat and lay my eggs in your chest, but I'm not an alien. Like these great little lines, these great little riffs. It's probably bad that I've watched this movie so many times, because now it's impossible for me to watch a movie and not riff track it. And it's started my love of the riff tracks. I've been to a few live riff tracks events, which I highly recommend if you watch any of the live riff tracks, which is now what Mystery Science Theater. Speaking of Patton Oswalt, Patton Oswalt just did a reboot of Mystery Science Theater recently with Felicia Day, which was really fun to see. But Trace Bulu is, if I'm saying his name correctly, the original Dr. Forrester. He's so freaking funny in the show, and I just love this movie. I've seen it 1,000 times. So Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie.
Have you seen it, Dash?
No, I wasn't a big Mystery Science Theater fan.
Okay, that's an acquired taste.
It was a little too quirky for me. Like it's definitely a niche kind of thing, and it just didn't. I saw a couple episodes, but not enough to want to watch the movie. But yeah.
Well, so the only Mystery Science Theater, or watch the live riff tracks, is this show is responsible for Manos, the Hands of Fate, being a known movie, this crazy cult worshipping movie from, I forget when it was, like the 1970s. The riff tracks version of Manos, the Hands of Fate. The riff tracks version of Twilight, also very entertaining. So any riff tracks version of movies. Birdemic is another one that riff tracks made kind of popular, but I love Mystery Science Theater. So Mystery Science Theater, the movie, I'm so grateful it exists because I've watched it literally 1,000 times. Awesome. Alrighty, so now we're going over to Jared for your number 2.
This is a movie that I can't get enough of either. Battle Los Angeles. It's got Aaron Eckhart in it.
Okay.
He's kind of a little bit of a man crush that I've got. I like a lot of the movies that he's in. It's basically, that jawline. It tells the story of a Marine who's getting out, and then aliens attack the world, and it's his struggle to find a solution on what to do. I mean, he's sent off on a seemingly non-special mission where he's just rescuing people from a police station, and then all of a sudden he's thrust into the forefront, and he's got a little bit of that backstory in Fury where not a lot of people like him because they don't really know what happened, and then you slowly find out throughout the movie what happened, and you really start to feel for him a little bit more. He's no longer this mystery of an individual, but they get it almost so true to the T about what a true warrior ethos is. It makes me it just holds a special place in the heart to where he can give that good of a performance. And so Battle Los Angeles with Aaron Eckhart and a couple of other people, it tells a story that I really like. And obviously, if you're watching the YouTubes, you see the flags behind me. I'm not Marine hardcore, but I was supposed to be a Marine. And then women. So anyways, moving on. Dash, how about your number 2? What's up, big guy? Mountain Dew for 2.
I've been looking forward to this moment right here. So I'm just going to give you actors. Again, Jared, you will know these people. You'll know these people.
Okay. That's a big ass, Dash.
Gilbert Gottfried.
Okay.
Sheila E.
Don't know who that is.
Musician out of the 80s.
Musician.
Vince Neil.
Another musician, singer of Motley Crue.
Priscilla Presley.
Okay. Wife of Elvis.
Lauren Holly.
Don't know who that is.
Morris Day. Making 2 appearances on my list, too, I'm going to say.
You love Morris Day in the time.
Robert Englund.
Freddy Krueger?
Yes. Wayne Newton.
What? Are we talking? Is this Mars Attacks?
No.
No. Okay.
And the star of this movie, Andrew Dice Clay.
I feel like I know who that is, but I don't.
Soundtrack by Billy Idol.
Oh man, what is this movie? I'm not guessing it.
Changed my life I wanted to know everything there was about music and solving mysteries. And it sounds weird.
Fucking Scooby-Doo.
Andrew Dice Clay plays a detective who works very closely with the music industry. He is known as the rock and roll detective. Gilbert Gottfried is a friend of his who is a DJ, like sleazy nighttime DJ in LA. Priscilla Presley gives him a case to find his daughter. Robert Englund plays like this killer in the movie. But it's himself. The movie that I'm talking about is The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. If you have never seen it, there's a koala bear sidekick in this movie, like a real life like koala bear. And
does it actually star a Ford Fairlane, like a car?
That's what he drives around in.
Okay.
But it's called The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. It is a
wacko.
It's such a cult movie. It really is.
Okay.
But it is a movie. The song Cradle of Love by Billy Idol. This is the movie that launched that song.
Okay.
It was on that soundtrack. But Wayne Newton as a bad guy is so fun. It's my life. He does it so well. Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Highly recommend you see that. That is my number 2 pick. Stephanie, do you have any honorable mentions there?
Honorable mentions? Well, it's a big honorable mention because it's a movie I've watched more than the other 2. I was the right person for this, but it's Star Wars Return of the Jedi. I mean, that's my favorite of the 3. I'm sorry, I know number 2 is technically the best one. Yes, I agree now as an adult, but I freaking love those Ewoks, and I will make no apologies for it. I loved The Return of the Jedi. I love Princess Leia. Star Wars is my honorable mention. Okay. Do we want to do all of our honorable mentions and then do our number 1s? Okay, so then, Jared, what's your honorable mention?
My honorable mention is Hook.
I love that movie. Robin Williams.
I don't know what it is about that movie, but it just, And sorry, Dash, I didn't see the last movie. Rufio. I don't know what it is. Just it's adorable. I do like how the mohawk that was like Rufio's mohawk look was real. Like it was, Dash.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 honorable mentions.
Ridiculous.
I have 6, and I'll land it on 1. And you'll
have
see
30 seconds.
My list here. I've gone back and forth. I'm sorry, 8. Bull Durham. I'm from Durham. Kevin Costner, Susan Sarandon, filmed here. Yeah, it's history for me. High Fidelity. One of the reasons I do a top whatever list is because of that movie. They sit around, friends talking about their top 5, whatever. I said, "Fuck it, we're gonna double that." La Bamba. The character.
Oh, great movie.
The character of Bob. I have a shirt that says Bob, and it's him riding a motorcycle because it's my favorite character in any movie. 10 Things I Hate About You.
Good movie.
Him singing to Julia Stiles, "I love you, baby." Great. Dick Tracy as a comic book movie.
Love that movie.
The art style. I'm a huge fan of the comic growing up, the comic strip. But I'm an even bigger fan, not of Warren Beatty, but of Prune Face, of a Flat Top, of I'm rubbing him out. Just like everything about Pacino. Just it's an incredible movie. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? George Clooney in that role kills it. Soggy Bottom Boys soundtrack, amazing. Last Action Hero, you mentioned it earlier, Stephanie. Love that fucking movie when you were talking about Terminator. Maybe you didn't, maybe it just popped in my head. But
popped in your head. I didn't talk about it.
Okay, but my absolute honorable mention, I've been sitting here rocking a Big Kahuna burger shirt the whole time. That's a tasty burger. Comes from none other than Pulp Fiction. I can't have a movie list that I'm thankful for without having Quentin motherfucking Tarantino on it.
Yeah.
I love Pulp Fiction with a passion.
Someday I'm gonna watch that movie in its entirety. Someday.
Really?
I've only ever seen parts of it.
Cool.
I keep showing up at the time when the poor black man is in the basement getting,
Bing Rames.
That's the part I keep showing up at whenever it's on anything. Is that particular part? I don't know why, but someday I'll watch the whole thing.
Stephanie, what's your number?
All right.
One?
So here are the number 1, and I already know from past experience and conversations with you, Dash, that you're not gonna like this number 1 at all.
Oh God.
Because my favorite movie trilogy of all time, I've watched this. So not only have I watched this movie 1,000 times, this was I didn't have cable when I was in college and couldn't afford cable. So all I had were the extended edition DVDs. So I watched
an extended edition of it.
The extended edition DVDs. Yes, I've watched the extended versions of these movies 1,000 times. This is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I'm putting it all as one movie because it's all one book. Yeah. So, I mean, I love the book. I've read the book a few times and it's wonderful. Peter Jackson's visualization of the book is wonderful. Everything New Zealand is the right place. And I grew up watching Xena and Hercules. So I already was familiar with the beauty of New Zealand topography, but these movies they're wonderful. Think about Aragorn. What a man Viggo Mortensen is. Elijah Wood, and yet another wonderful Elijah Wood role. The imagery, the care and attention to detail that goes into all of the costumes and the weaponry and the building of the world that is Tolkien's fantasy. The look of the elves, the look of the dwarves, the look of the men, the idea of Aragorn being this reluctant hero. I have watched these far too many times, and I'm grateful that they exist because I think they're perfect. And I'll fight anybody that says otherwise. So we gonna fight. We gonna fight, man. I love the Lord of the Rings. I hate the Hobbit, though. I hate the Hobbit. I mean, the Hobbit trilogy. I've never seen the third Hobbit because I was so angry at second Hobbit because I love the Lord of the Rings so much that the Hobbit was like, what is going on in this movie right now?
That's fair.
But the Lord of the Rings trilogy is literally perfect to me. I can't the spider scene in the third one. People got mad that they put the spider scene in the third movie, but that's actually where it should be chronologically. When they're climbing up the stairs of Mordor is when the Battle of Pelennor is happening behind them. So he actually put it in the right spot, chronologically speaking, for the story. And the way that he does the spider's lair, Shelob's lair, the last Ungoliant, is awesome. It's just, I can't wait for the Lord of the Rings series that's coming out on Amazon sometime soon. Who knows when that's actually happening? That's going to take place during the time of when Sauron was actually building the Ring of Power and how he tricked the elves into doing it. I love the Tolkien world. I've read the Silmarillion several times. I love Tolkien. I love this movie. It's my #1 movie. I'm so grateful that it exists. There we go. I'm sorry, Dash.
Yep.
It's all good. It's all good. It's your list. That's what it is. It's
My
your
list.
There you go.
All right. Let's go over to Jared. What's your #1?
Are we talking about movies that I'm thankful for, or just television and movies that we're thankful for?
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Okay. The Band of Brothers and Generation Kill are my #1 most things that I am thankful for. The one reason is because it almost tells a very poetic story of what it's like to be in the military. And I used to every time I was deployed, I would halfway through my deployment, I would watch the Band of Brothers series from start to finish on my days off with people that I would watch. I'd find a friend, I'd make a friend and say, hey, I'm watching the Band of Brothers series. I would like to watch it with you. You're a friend over here. And it would just, you could feel the struggle. And it felt really, really, Captain Winters, just, it was a nice way to say, this is what this is what it's like being in the military. And then when Generation Kill came out, it showed what it was like to be in the military to some extent, for realism, and it was just nice. It was a nice homage, and I really, yeah, I like when they get it correct. There's supposed to be inaccuracies in movies. They can't make it 100% perfect, but when you can watch a recreation of what it was like to almost all kind of sort of be in the military, so people can get somewhat of an appreciation for what you did. And I hate it when people say thank you for being a veteran. It's just because I don't feel like I did anything, but it's nice for them to go, I can kind of understand, because that for me is just the big thing. So Band of Brothers, Generation Kill, those are some of the most cool. I'm done getting emotional.
Awesome.
Let's go, Dash. Let's
Oh
go.
no, here he goes. Oh, he's crying.
My #1 is the reason that I am confident now as an adult. We spoke on it when I was a kid. This is the movie that gave me the confidence. It's how this movie was written. My absolute favorite line, if I can get it correct, is I'm sorry, what is Gay Perry? Gay Perry? Are you gay? He goes, oh, me? No, I'm knee deep in pussy. I just like the name so much. The movie, Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer. So Robert Downey Jr., has anybody seen the movie Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
Oh, I've not. Oh man.
It's such an incredible story. So Robert Downey Jr. plays like down on his luck. He's got a daughter and everything. She wants this certain toy. It's kind of like the same kind of premise of like Jingle All the Way. You gotta get the toy or whatever. So he's up robbing the store. The alarm goes off. He's running out there. He ends up getting shot. His partner, who he's robbing the store with too, gets shot as well, killed. He runs up the steps away from the cops, burst in the door of a audition. And so like they're reading the script, and it coincidentally is like, you got your partner killed. He's like, that's not what happened. Like he like comes off as very method, gets this job, and they send him to LA or whatever. And he's partnered up with a real detective played by Val Kilmer.
Wow.
Who his name in the movie is Gay Perry. Yeah, it's just an incredible, the way it is written. It is so smart. And it kind of toes the line of what's real, what's not. His childhood comes into it. It's so witty. It's such a smart script. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is my absolute #1 movie I'm thankful for. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I'd never seen it, but I am the way I am because of that movie. It's one of those, like, you hear those people who are very quick on their feet and quick-witted and everything. That's this movie to a T, and it's the person I wish I could be. I wish I could be a little bit of Robert Downey and a little bit of Val Kilmer in real life. And it's yeah, that's it. That's my list. I love it.
Wow,
I had so much
list.
fun. I had so much fun with this one. So much fun.
Man, it's a weird array of movies between the three of us. I should say weird, but a cool array of different movies. It is weird, but what sort of movies hit you as you're growing up, the things that stick with you.
I think the thing that I like about this podcast is, the people who listen to it. I listen to podcasts for certain reasons, and I would listen to this podcast to go, what movies do? As somebody who is a huge cinephile, to go, oh, I definitely need to write this down. I gotta. You hear how passionate they are about these films when we're talking about it, to where I'm sitting here going, please go home and watch Orange County. Go home and watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. If you have not seen these movies, if you like these kind of films that are smart or whatever, or if you have no taste and you like Lord of the Rings, it's just.
Oh, I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight you hard.
I'm
gonna pull out.
I'm so kidding.
I'm gonna pull out the light of Elendil and blast your eyeballs out, sir.
I don't even know what that means.
It fights a spider, man.
Oh no, that's in a couple weeks.
Somebody on somebody else's Zoom.
All right, Miss Lady, you want to take us home?
Alrighty. All right, so everybody, that was our list, our 10 most thankful films. We hope you and your family and whoever else you're with on this lovely Thanksgiving holiday, I hope you are having a wonderful day. Like us, subscribe to us, follow us on social media at SNH Pod. I think that's on both Instagram and Facebook, SNH Pod, SNHPOD. We're gonna wrap it. I don't really know how to take us out because I'm not very good at endings.
We have a Discord.
Just like J.J. Abrams. Oh, we have a Discord.
Shorts and Hoodies
now,
Discord.
right.
Yeah, I set that up. I don't know what I'm doing.
He did that.
There.
I don't know how to do that shit.
I don't even know how Discord works. I'm an old person stuck in a young person's body.
You know, a couple friends like it. Get onto the Discord. Chit chat about the episodes.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not doing this outro any justice. I'm sorry. I don't even know what to say. Oh, I'm wrong.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
How you gonna feel when I do it? When I totally screw it up and I don't do? Yeah.
I'm gonna judge you from behind your back, like any good Minnesota person does, or Minnesota nice to your face.
Good.
I'm gonna go watch Lord of the Rings for the 4,000th time.
No, you're not. Hopefully more and more of these lists that we do, I'll start to see more and more movies that Jared has talked about.
Any of those Studio Ghibli movies.
Go watch Orange County. If you haven't seen Orange County, go watch it. Seriously. Change your life. You may not like it. I have the people that I tell, they say, oh, it was such a great movie. The other half are like, I was bored with it. I love it. Yeah, go watch it. That's my thing.
If I could watch a movie as background, I count it as worth it. Ghost Rider is the one and only movie I've never been able to watch on the back as background. So nothing can be as bad as Ghost Rider for me. So
if y'all can hear that noise in the background here, it's my cat playing like with one of his toys. He's wide open right now. Good. If you can't hear it, then they can't hear it. Anyways, yeah, I'm Jared. She's Stephanie, and he's Dash.
I'm Dash now, y'all.
Right.
Woo woo.
Dash in the flock.
Dash in the flock.
Dash in the flock.
That's Stephanie.
I'm Stephanie.
That's Jaredy. You're not
Jaredy.
Stephanie and Jaredy.
If you want to see the flock, come join us on Podbean. I will bring them out on Podbean. They will come out on Podbean.
Yeah. Let's get out of here.
See you Sunday.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.
Cut the check.